All right. Hey, it's Growler. I read through your Reddit posts and I want to try to create a Coda doc that will help you. So I just want to quickly copy and paste this over to Coda and we can start from there. All right. So you feel like Node apps like Notion. We can probably also say Coda feels a little bit much like students, teams, and journaling. All right. You're looking for several meetings a week, and you have multiple projects. So I'm just going to take a note down here. So we have meetings and we have projects. All right. Okay, cool. You're a video producer. So we have kind of like a video production pipeline, probably. And you develop series. Cool. So the projects are probably different series going through the pipeline. There's 4 to 5 people throughout the week in these meetings. Sometimes it's one person, other times it's multiple in the projects. These projects are series. Okay, so the big question is how do we organize it, see the notes that you've made for each of these projects, knowing that we don't have a single meeting for the project. Some meetings talk about multiple projects. We're trying to connect them together. And bit hard to understand, maybe, but also what you're trying to build is a bit complicated, and your workflow sounds complicated. So let's try to build something that's gonna help you out here. All right. So let's see if there's any like project pipelines that we can start with. Feedback, task tracker. No, I'm just looking for like a project portfolio. Shoot, doesn't look like there's one. I'll create this from scratch. So what it sounds like is we're probably going to have a project pipeline. That's the first thing that I'm going to build, and then we're going to figure out how to run these meetings. So this would be the projects. You can also call these series. There's probably going to be a producer for you right now. I'm just going to throw your name as the producer, but if we were doing this across a few teams, you would probably have different producers for different folks. Project name. Just putting in some random things here. We probably have a description, and then we would have the stage that it's in the production pipeline. So maybe we're just in the ideation, maybe we're shooting, maybe this is post-production. And we would probably have a few more things that we're tracking here, like maybe this is our air date. All right, this one's going off way into next year. We should probably flip this, right? Something in post-production is probably going to air a lot sooner. Yeah, let's put out shooting a little bit as well. Cool, let's see if there's anything else that we would want to keep track of. We might be able to do like % done, even though the stage kind of tells us there. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Most people like to put a image of the project that you're working on. Just helps keep track of things, but we can leave that off for now. And this stage, we can keep it as text. I usually like to flip this over to be its own table. So there's ideation, shooting, post-production. Let's just throw a pre-production. What this allows us to do is connect this. You can almost think of it as a select list into the stage here just to keep things together. And I always like to put things like fun emojis. And maybe there's some colors that go into it as well. Okay, cool. So we can start seeing that pipeline there. I'm just going to roll this up and hide it for now. So we got projects and stage. We're doing series. Great. Video producer. Perfect. So I'm feeling pretty good about these two. Let's talk about the solution. So we got the projects in the series. Now the meetings are going to be a little bit different. So one style we could do is take our meeting notes for each of the projects. So we can do something like, here's the meetings, or at least have like a next steps column. I'm gonna hide this, make it a little wider. So XYZ follow-up. Your next steps are probably going to be way more interested in that. On the meeting side, I want to keep this open. We might want to do it as another table. We might want to just put it in another page. I haven't quite decided yet. So I'll show you the simpler version, and then we can go to more complex. So let's create a projects page. Cool. I'll just throw stages in there as well. And then we would have a meetings page. Let's put some fun icons on this. Okay, cool. So usually what I like to do is, let's say it's December 17th today. I would put a title and then start putting my meeting notes. Usually there's like, who's it with? So Steve over on production, and then we have Jenny on animation. So you can do what you're talking about generally. And then what we can start doing is we can link back to these projects in really unique ways. So the thing that I like to do is at mention. So you can at mention people. So you can actually at mention Steve and Jenny if they're in this doc, but we're just tracking this for ourselves. So let's not. And then I can at mention the entire projects page to say that we're talking about it, or I can start at mentioning the specific projects in the list. So for example, I at mention Queen's Gambit, and I can talk about what's going on. Any next steps? What we think about it. And the reason I'm at mentioning is if I hover over Queen's Gambit, you'll see that all of the information that I've put together for the Queen's Gambit is the exact same as the table over here. It's just restructured so that I can see it easily when I'm taking my meeting notes. If I wanted to click on this or click this open area, it's going to pop open a view of that project or series that I'm working on. So I would be able to come in here in my meetings if I want and say, you know what, the next steps are TKT post-production, and I can click out of that. My meeting notes are still here, but it's all connected. So I've updated the next steps from this meetings view, and you'll see here that on the Queen's Gambit view in my my series pipeline, it's also updated over here. So everything is connected between the project series pipeline and my meetings. So after I have the December 7th, fast forward to Jan 1, I can do the same thing with the folding. Like, who am I talking to? This time it's just Steve. And what are we talking about? This time we're talking about friends and the office. So same sort of setup there. Now, that's one of the designs. If I wanted to do something a bit fancier, but it is going to become more detailed, I could create a meetings, almost a database where I take notes on those meetings, and I update each of the projects related to each of the meetings. A little more confusing, but if we wanted to just generally show the style, then I could say like we talked about this, talked about that, and a third conversation was here. But I usually like to keep it simple. Just have a meetings page, a proxies page, and then this would be some sort of welcome. This is actually more of just a scratch right now. Okay, I'm going to name this my, what do we say? Um, Video producer. So this is maybe a video producer projects and meeting template. Cool, let's throw on an icon there. And I could, if I was internally, share this with other people on my team. I obviously don't need to do that. It's just an internal tool for me. But for you to be able to copy this, or any other video producers out there, I'm going to publicly publish this to the doc gallery. So let's throw it in productivity. I don't care if I get Coda credit. You're going to be able to play around with the doc. I'm going to allow you to copy it and show pages in top nav. I don't want this to feel like a website. I want to feel like what it'll look like when you use it. All right, cool. So that's going to be the URL. And I don't really care about these. All right, apply and publish, copy doc. Cool. On this welcome page, I'm going to do something a bit more fun here. So what if there's like the office or a nice clean canvas? Okay, this is super boring, but we'll keep with it. All right, awesome. So I'll come over here, I'll respond to you, and I'll drop in the video. Awesome. Looking forward for you to take a look and let me know what you think.